Hey guys, Marisa at kitchentablestamper.com. Have you seen my Citrus Blooms treat box? It's a book style treat box made using the largest label die from the Citrus Blooms dies. Now, the Citrus Blooms is available as a bundle, but you don't have to get bundled on this one. I love this die set. In this die set, there are two dies that coordinate with the stamps. One to cut the larger set of oranges and one to cut the single orange. Besides that, every other die in the set is an amazing die that's useful with or without the stamps. So this is the big label die that we're going to use. This is the leafy border. And when you tape these two dies together, then you get an awesome leafy frame. I love the leafy frame. Here it is in action. This is one of the cards from our Citrus Blooms Stamp-A-Stack PDF card class, but it makes this amazing cutout frame. You can combine that with any jungle type greenery that you have, the monkey bundle, or one of my favorites was from Celebration. Did you guys get those jungle pails? This would be a great way to spruce up the jungle pails. And then besides the two dies that can be done as a label or a frame, depending on if you use them together or not, there's also a bunch of leaves, flowers, and even some teeny tiny little flowers. These make great paper embellishments. So this die set, although I recommend the bundle and save 10% on both the stamp set and the dies, this die set is really an amazing die set. And this is the box, the book style treat box that you can make using that largest label die. So the treat box is a book style treat box. Ties closed with ribbon. We're gonna add a little belly band and this fun little way to close the book. It opens book style, and inside is a great little tray where you can add some candies. I've got these Gallagher dark chocolate coffee bars. They were part of an assortment that I found at Costco. Let me show you that. At the time that you're seeing this video, you might not be able to find these anymore, but let me show you them in case you wanted to do some Googling or look around. These were, this is how I got them from the Costco, Belgium milk chocolates, and it's almost a pound of little chocolate bars. The tray was made to fit inside the box, and that just happens to be one of the treats that I had that fit. If you make this box and you find other treats that fit, please let us know in the comments. We love to know what fits. So we're going to take the Citrus Blooms dies and combine it up with the Painted Lavender stamp set and dies to make this awesome little treat. So let's start with our bubble bath cardstock here. I've cut it with this large label, and now we're going to run some texture on it. I've got the Eyelet 3D embossing folder. Now, if you did our paper sampler with us for the annual catalog, paper sampler, we do a quarter package of each new paper every time there's a catalog release. And so for the annual catalog, we did a paper plus where there were 3 PDF card classes included for free. So it's a $30 value in addition to the Paper Plus sampler. So if you are one of those people, this treat box matches your Painted Lavender PDF. If you've purchased the card class, or if you're interested in a card class to match this treat box, maybe you love the treat box, the PDF is now available to purchase for those who are not paper samplers. So this is our Painted Lavender PDF card class, and this is the cards that it makes. It makes 3 designs, 1 of each, and it is a Wonder Recipe #1 class. So these are made to be multiplied. I did it from 2 pieces of 6x6 designer series paper, so I got double the cards. You can check out our PDF classes in the PDF store, kitchentablestamper.com/shop, and then just use the filter on the right to get to the PDF store. We have lots of card classes, but the Stamp-A-Stack that matches this treat is really beautiful. All right, Simply Score tool. We're going to pop that in, long side across the top, score at 2 1/4, and then flip end over end and score at 2 1/4. Now we've got 5/8 of an inch isolated in the middle there. So that's how tall our little tray can be for our box. I'm going to grab a bone folder and work these score lines. Do it gentle. You don't want to press the design that you just embossed out. And there is the wrapper for our little book style treat box. Now we need a tray for the inside. So we're going to take another piece of bubble bath cardstock. This one is 5 1/4 by 4 1/4. Here's our template. There will be a picture of the template in the project sheet. To get the project sheet, just click Project Details, click here. That'll take you to the blog. If you're on the blog, then the embedded video at the bottom of the post, you'll see a button underneath there that says click here for today's project sheet, and there will be a PDF that you can download for free. All right, we're going to score all the way around at 5/8 and 1 1/4. So rotate 5/8 and 1 1/4. Do that 4 times. That'll give you a double wall box that's 5 1/4 inches tall. It'll fit right inside that wrapper that we just made. All right, there's our tray. Let's work those score lines with a bone folder and trim it up according to the template. All right, so let's go ahead and do score lines from the left. We're going to cut off the score line straight along these 2 long rectangles, and then angle to remove that score line. Then you're going to go 1 score line to the left and cut, then angle to remove the score line. Then you're going to take out these 2 squares right here and cut off that tab. Same thing on the opposite side. Second one from the left, straight up along those long rectangles, cut out the little angle and get rid of that score line, cut straight on the next score line, and then an angle to remove. Get rid of these 2 squares and get rid of that tab. Now we'll move to the right, 2 scores from the right, score up or cut up to the second score, angle to cut that score line out, next score line to the right, cut straight, and then angle to remove. Get rid of these 2 and this little flap, and repeat one more time. All right, remove these 2 and this one. And there is the little tray for inside of your treat box. All right, let's get some tear and tape adhesive and put this guy together. You're gonna go on the inside of the treat box along the long tabs. So 2, 3, and 4, top, bottom, right, left. Then flip the box over and add a little bit of adhesive on the squares. And there it is. Now let's take your pick tool, remove the adhesive liner on the squares. I like to do the squares first to shape the box, and then bring the tabs in to finish and make the box a little bit more sturdy. So let's first bring up the tabs to the inside and fold up the corners. Now you've got tabs on the inside of your box, right? We're going to bring the next round of tabs in, and what that will do is it will, you see it stick to my take your pick tool, it will hide the tabs so you won't see those inside the box like that. Just fold that in. And it also gives you a double wall, which means that the box is far more sturdy. All right, let's finish this little guy up. Put some tear and tape adhesive on the back. I'm going to do 2 long strips of tear and tape adhesive on the back of the box. There we go, 1 and 2. All right, now you want the box against the score line, first one from the right, and tucked in so that the corner of the box is in this little cleft of the scallops. Give yourself a little bit of wiggle room here. Don't press it down until you know you got it, because you don't want to see it from the outside of the box when it's closed. All right, that looks good. See how the corners are right in the scallop and the edge is against the fold. Burnish that down. Now you got your little book fold. Really fun way to use that die. All right, let's get our belly band. Now, I'm using 1 5/8 by 7/8 inch of this Unbounded Beauty Designer Series paper. This has the peach on the other side, and I don't want the peach to show in my Summer Splash and Petunia Pop and Bubble Bath color palette. So let me show you what I'm going to do about this. First thing, I'm going to wrap this so that the peach is to the inside. I'm going to bring it so that it comes together at the end, and then I'm going to press along the fold to kind of impress where it should be creased. Now we can square this up so that the top and bottom edges are square, and then we can work that crease with the bone folder and get a nice sharp crease, and we don't have to calculate the number of 16ths that it's going to take in between these 2 spaces, right? Because this is 5/8, but to wrap something around 5/8 you're going to need an extra 16th, and I don't like to measure that, so I just kind of guesstimate and then work the creases backwards. Now you want this flat on the table, and oh, look at that, this is the first time I've done one of these where my ends actually met. But you want it flat on the table so that you've got a nice flat bottom. Now we're going to take this, here's another fun tool. The label in Citrus Blooms isn't just for citrus blooms. The modern label punch isn't just for modern labels either. So we got this oblong punch. We're going to slide our belly band into the punch. Oh, look, we got a leftover. And from the back, and then get it so that it's lined up in there. Go to the very extreme edge, and then we're going to punch and make these awesome rounded ends on our belly band. Pretty cool, right? All right, now, how are we going to deal with the peach problem? Peach isn't in this color palette, and so I want it to be finished just a little bit nicer when we open up. So these are 1 5/8 inch by 2 inch scraps. We're going to open up our belly band and add some adhesive right along that curve. Then we're going to take one of these pieces, add some adhesive on one end, and we're going to glue these back to back with a little bit of room at the end, one on each side. So that's what we have. It's going to look a little bit crazy for a minute here, but it's going to give us a beautiful finish with no stray peach pie pattern. We're going to have all Petunia Pop and Summer Sky. Okay, so we've got our insides and our outsides. We're going to bring back our modern label, Do like we did, just put one end at a time in through the back of the punch, line it up, and punch off the excess from the back. Same thing, one more time. Get it in the punch from the back. Well, line it up. Oh, you're not gonna line it up with a scrap in there. There we go. And we're just gonna trim off that peach by lining it up inside the punch and give it a punch. So there's our belly band that is now going to be Petunia Pop and Summer Splash inside and out. Now we can add some tear and tape adhesive. And then remove the liner. And we'll adhere our little belly band to the box. Make sure you get it good and centered because this tape is going to grab hard. So let's hover over the center of the box. When you got it, it looks pretty good in center, then you can open up and burnish down that adhesive. And now you can see that there's no peach inside or out. All right, now we need a 1/8 inch circle punch. I'm gonna bring together the ends of the belly band, make sure they're lined up nice, and then go about 1/4 inch in and punch. That hole will be how we tie up using some Summer Splash ribbon. But first, let's get some treats. All right, I've got these dark chocolate coffee bars. Put them right in. And my Summer Splash ribbon is going to go through this loop on the floss threader. There you go. Thread it like a needle. And then I'm going to bring these together and thread this right through both holes and pull. There we go. Nice and easy. Love those floss threaders. And then tie it closed. We'll first tie it. Don't always do that when I tie bows. Sometimes I just go straight to the loop, swoop, tuck and pull. But it doesn't want to stay closed if you don't do that initial tie to close up the box. Cut away from the spool and trim the opposite tail. There you go. Let's do some stamping and some die cutting to get this beautiful box decorated. Got some basic white cardstock and my Stampin' Pierce mat because painted lavender is photopolymer. My stamp pads for this project are Pretty Peacock, Summer Splash, Berry Burst, and Petunia Pop. Going to stamp my flowers in Petunia Pop on the basic white, and then I'm going to stamp my stems with Summer Splash. My butterflies are Pretty Peacock. And now I'm going to get some scratch paper. And I'm just going to protect my Stampin' Pierce mat right here because we're going to add some details to our flowers and it's going to go off the bottom edge, and that's okay. I'm going to take my Berry Burst and this little detail stamp, and I'm just going to stamp over these blooms, adding some texture and some variation of the color. It's going to look, as you're stamping it, almost the same. The Berry Burst and the Petunia Pop, when they're wet, are very hard to tell apart. But don't worry, when they dry, you'll get a fantastic result of kind of a monochromatic, but a nice variation. And I'm just gonna do this little detail on each of these little sprigs in the bouquet. There we go. We'll put the ink pads except for Pretty Peacock. Let's hold on to that one for just a second. Get that guy back over here. I've got a little label. We cut this one ahead from basic white cardstock and used the short wide banner from Stylish Shapes. We're gonna stamp Hello Friend, and this is from the Country Birdhouse bundle. I love the fonts and the greetings in here. We're gonna stamp it way off to the right. And there's our little Hello Friend greeting. Let's die cut our images next. So we'll get the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And we'll set it up for die cutting. Got the thin die adapter number 3. And my images. We're gonna pop this little flower die on and then cut out each of these other images with the coordinating die. And let's give that a crank. I love when you can get all the parts that you need for one project through the machine in one pass. Makes me happy. There's our lavender bouquet. Now that it's starting to dry, you can start to see the difference between those two colors. Just really is pretty dimension. And I love the little butterflies. They're perfect embellishments. I'm going to grab my glue and add just a little bit of glue on the back of the stems here. Just at the top. And I'm going to assemble my bouquet. Put those stems up as far as you can. You've only got so much room on this box, so as far as you can. Let that dry. While that dries, let's get that scratch paper back in here. Oh, I don't want to lose my little butterfly. And we're going to add some color to these sprigs. I've got my Stampin' Blends markers here. I'm going to start with the dark Summer Splash, and I'm going to do the stem and the stem in between each of these little blooms. And at the end of this one, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to smooth this last little bud off of here. I didn't know exactly how I wanted to color it, and it was kind of baffling to me, so I just cut it off. Let's do the stem on the other. All right. Each little bit of stem gets a little dab of Summer Splash. Now we're going to do the flowers, and the flowers are Petunia Pop. I'm going to do light Petunia Pop with the brush and dark Petunia Pop with the bullet, so that I can do a little bit of shading. I don't need too much, but it really does give it a little bit of depth. So first, with the brush, we're going to fill all the little flowers completely. And then with the bullet and the dark, we're going to draw a little shadow in at the bottom along the stem. And then if you need a little bit of blend, you can just swipe a bit of light. Again, it's such a small space, it will blend pretty well on its own. Let's do the second sprig the same way. All right, if it seems like it needs a little bit of blending, a little bit of softening, add some more light. Now, I missed a tiny bit of stem over there. Let me get my Summer splash. There we go. Now it's just right. And let me pull that so you can see without all the sketching in the back how pretty they are. Aren't those beautiful? And the way that it's going to add depth with the stamping and the marker coloring. It's just amazing. Let me bring the sample back in here and show you. Once you layer up all those elements, you really get such a beautiful gift packaging. So let's go ahead and bring our sample back in here. And the first thing that's going on is Hello Friend. And I'm just going to roll up the right end a little bit and then add liquid glue about 3/4 of the way and put that on there. And then I'm going to grab my flowers and go the bottom of the flowers here and the stem almost to the ends of the bouquet. Get that on there. Now before everything's all dry, I'm going to trim my stems a little bit so it's easy and I don't have to worry about hiding them. I'm going to grab a little bit of liquid glue just on the end of the sprig here because I want them to float kind of free, and we're going to line them up and then just tuck them under the banner. You have to lift a little bit, that's okay. Get it back down there. You can add a little bit more glue. Maybe a little bit lower. There we go. And I'm going to add a little bit more glue now that I've got everything where I like it. Really get it secured down. But I do want these, since they're so pretty, to just kind of lift and flow. Now I'm going to remove the rest of the stem so that it's hidden under the banner. Just trim those off close. And then let's get some Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm going to add a couple of Stampin' Dimensionals underneath the lavender here, making sure that they're going to make contact with the box because it does go real close to the end. I got that how we like it. Oh, I think I still want a little bit more glue on my banner. I want it to lift at the end with a little curl but still be nicely secure. My little butterflies, they're the star of the show, I think. They're little cuties. Let's get a Stampin' Dimensional and we'll cut it, not quite in half. The smaller piece, the less than half, put on the little guy, and then the one that's a little bit more than half of a half can go on the big guy. Got to cut those down for these little bits, but they're really just so cute. They add a pop of color, a little whimsy. I'll get that guy on there, and then this little one. Last but not least, let's grab the In Color Shimmer Gems. I've got the 2024-2026 In Color Shimmer Gems here, and either the Pretty in Pink or the Petunia Pop would be lovely here. I'm going to go with Petunia Pop, and I'm just going to add one on my banner and one on the box for a little extra sparkle. There it is. That is my Citrus Blooms book style treat box. If you've got any questions about the project or about the matching Stamp-A-Stack card class, if you love the project, come get the card class. You won't regret it. Buzz on over to kitchentablestamper.com/shop. Check out the PDF store for this guy. If you've got questions about the project or the class, email Marisa at kitchentablestamper.com. And to shop Stampin' Up! 24/7, buzz over to marisaAlvarez.stampinup.net. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.